literally just filmed half of this video without a mic. So I had to do a makeshift mic, and I hope you guys can hear me, and I hope I don't sound like a bag of potatoes. But yeah, let's get started. Hey guys, what's up? And today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be starting a playlist of videos that attribute to my curly girl method and attribute to like my hair health journey. But yeah, today's video is mainly going to be about what I learned in the beginning, like way before I learned any of like curly girl anything, just what I learned in the beginning to help my initial hair health, and what I learned in the beginning, like simple things that helped, do less breakage, get rid of some frizz, like, stuff like that. But yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of background on my hair. I'll probably do this in every one of the curly girl related videos or hair related videos. I literally didn't do anything to my hair until I got to middle school. Middle school, started straightening it once a week. I also started getting highlights in middle school, although I don't think the highlights attributed to much damage. After I started straightening my hair once a week, I did that all the way until sophomore year. Not to mention sophomore year is literally when I just went crazy with dyeing my hair. I think freshman year I dyed it black, and then I just let that fade out, and then I don't know why I wanted to go like blonde again, but I wanted to go like white blonde. And so I went to this lady and she bleached my hair and like stripped all the color out, and then I went back and she bleached it again like 4 months later, and then I went back and she bleached it again like 4 months later. Anyway, apparently she didn't know what toner was, and it was just orange. So I ended up dyeing it back brown, like a dark brown, and it kind of like this, but it had more red in it. Then I had that for a while. I dyed it strawberry blonde. I meant to dye it like an actual blonde, but the box dye made it strawberry blonde. I was okay with that. That was cute. And yeah, and then I dyed it back brown, and that was the last time I ever dyed my hair, and that was junior year. I also stopped straightening junior year, and just let my hair like do whatever. And then senior year is when I started learning like some tips and tricks. But yeah, that's kind of, been here ever since. Okay, so another thing, my hair was super, super long, like down to my belly button, been growing it for years, and like, it was just crazy. Anyway, let's get to the first tip. The first tip that I learned, like ever, was to be gentle with your hair. And what I mean by be gentle is like literally just treat it like it could break at any moment. So like, for example, brushing your hair. I used to brush my hair with this like paddle brush that had like broken ass bristles, and I would like rip through my hair like every morning. I would just rip through my hair and get all the tangles out and just go as fast as I can, because it would hurt like shit, and it would make a bunch of like crash noises, and I would just keep doing that. And then I learned about like gentler brushes. For example, the wet brush. This is the Flex wet brush. It pretty much just like bends whenever it comes in contact with a knot, so it kind of like gradually gets them out. It's not as like, it doesn't create as much breakage, considering it's not pulling and tugging as hard. Another thing that goes along with brushes is the way you brush your hair. Now, when you brush your hair, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but it'll help your hair. When you brush your hair, I'm going to show you this now actually. You want to start from the bottom and work your way up. So normally what I do is just part it, and then take the bottom and brush it. Now, if I do this and the brush literally won't go through, I won't even try brushing it. I don't dry brush like ever anymore. If my hair like doesn't have that many tangles in it, I'll brush it before the shower. But I just work my way up very gently. If there's any pulling, I kind of just let it go, like I don't really try to get the tangles through. I kind of just let the brush do its thing. And yeah. So if you do that, you're kind of just getting the tangles out little bit by little bit instead of starting from here and bringing all these tangles from here and just dragging them and ripping them through your hair and creating all the damage that it does. Anyway, this is like day 5 hair, by the way. It's a little wavy, a little not, but this is what my brush hair looks like. I'm gonna do this side. Now this side has a little bit more tangles, probably because this side gets more curly or wavy. But yeah. But it's okay, it's not too big of tangles. The brush will take care of that without too much breakage. Okay, so this is what my brushed out hair looks like. That's how you should really brush your hair when you can. Yeah. So the next tip is, I think I already mentioned it, but pretty much only brushing dry hair if it's like brushable. Like if you go through it and your brush is like, no, it won't go through, don't even try. Just wait till your shower, detangle it in the shower where your hair is stretchy and won't break as much. I normally just detangle my hair in the shower and then use my wet brush again like when I'm styling and stuff. And then throughout the week I literally just let my waves like do whatever. If they loosen up, they loosen up. Like, okay, so another thing was how often you're brushing your hair. Now if you are going to keep dry brushing it, like I would suggest doing it just literally once a day. The more you brush your hair, the more breakage happens. Like that's just what happens. I would just, brush it before you go to sleep, put it in like a protective style, or sleep on a silk pillowcase or something, and then bam, you're good. You don't really need to do it any more than that. And if you're getting like excessive tangles and stuff, that normally means that there's like a hydration issue or like a split end issue, and those are like problems you can't just fix with brushing your hair over and over again. So yeah. Okay, so another thing you can be gentle with is shampooing your hair. When you shampoo your hair, let me show you how I used to do it first of all. I'm not gonna actually do it, but I used to take all of it and put it up here and just get it all sudsy and crap, and just kind of literally put it all over my head and like all over my hair and just rub and scrub and all that. And yeah, that gets your hair clean, but it also strips your hair very badly. Honestly, shampoo is not meant for the lengths of your hair. Shampoo is meant to remove the oil from your scalp. And if you happen to have buildup, like the shampoo rinsing from your scalp, like through your ends, will be enough. You don't need to thoroughly wash your end. Put shampoo on your scalp. Massage for 1 to 2 minutes. If you do co-wash, do like a 3 to 5 minutes. And then once you're done with that, rinse it out, and then just kind of squeeze the shampoo out, and it'll go through your ends, and then your ends will be cleansed if you want them to be. Okay, so my last gentle little tip thingy is find a scrunchie or a bobble. What is it called? Like an Invisibobble or something. And use those to put up your hair. Because normal hair ties just, I still have mine, but, and I don't use it much. Normal hair ties just do create a lot of breakage. I don't know if you can look at them and just tell, but yeah, so I switched to a scrunchie. I use this all the time. Another thing is just try not to do too tight and too high of hairstyles too much, because that can just create stress on your hair follicles, and you could, have a little bit more shedding or just have a sore scalp, or honestly, sometimes create a little bald spot. That happens, you know. So my second like little category about tips for beginners and what I learned as a beginner was like the small changes in your shower as well. And what I mean by that is, again, only putting shampoo on your scalp. And also, don't rub or dry your hair with a towel, like a body towel. The material that it's made out of is just very drying, and very harsh. It can create split ends. It can dry your hair out. It can create frizz. Those two things create tangles. Like, it's just a big mess. And if you really want to dry your hair, like, use a t-shirt, or you can also pick up a microfiber towel at your, on Amazon or at like Walmart or something. But yeah, just try not to just don't use a towel. They're just not good. And another thing I would suggest, you don't have to do this because I know like it's hard to break habits and stuff, but another thing I would suggest is when you dry your hair, don't rub it. Don't like try to get the water out. I would suggest, even if you have straight hair, like even if you don't have any texture in your hair at all, it's not even like 2A, it's completely straight, it's type 1 hair, you can still like squish the water out of your hair. So like if it's straight, I would do it like this with a towel, but if it's wavy, I would just do it how I did it in the beginning, which was literally just scrunching up all the hair with the towel and just like really getting all the water out. And if you want, you can like put it up in a towel, like in a towel. Look at me. In a t-shirt, that's what I mean. Like put it up in a t-shirt, or squeeze it out with a t-shirt, it's whatever. But yeah, just try to be, as gentle as you can. So another thing that I learned in the beginning, that was pretty simple to me actually, because I just kind of had to like look up, and you'll see, was small changes in the ingredients. So this is the informative part of the whole video. Turn your volume up, tune in. I'm gonna try to explain this as good as I can. I'm a little bad with words, but we'll see how I do. Okay, so in normal shampoos, like ones that you're not looking at the ingredients, pretty much all of them contain some type of sulfate, which is a type of ingredient. Sulfate is a cleansing ingredient. That is what kind of makes your shampoo lather. That is what cleanses your hair. That is what removes all the buildup, like all of that stuff. The only thing about sulfates is they can be too drying and too stripping. So for example, using a sulfate shampoo every single time you wash your hair. This is for type 2 people, type 3 people, and type 4 people. I don't know if this is the same thing with straight-haired people because your oil production is different. But I do know that if you have wavy hair or curly hair or kinky hair and you're using a sulfate every single time you wash your hair, it will dry out not only your scalp, it'll dry out your ends, it'll create frizz. Just big no-nos, like icky stuff. Okay, there's that. Most conditioners, some shampoos, I don't know why, but some shampoos have them too, but most conditioners have silicones in them as well. Silicones are what make your hair shiny in a conditioner. They kind of coat your hair. They're like plastics that coat your hair and make it shiny and make it like soft and stuff like that. They can give you slip in a conditioner, but there's also other ingredients that give you that as well. So pretty much here's what happens. The only way to get rid of silicone in your hair is by sulfates. So literally what you're doing every wash day is stripping your hair of all of its natural oils and moisture and anything, and then applying like plastic to your hair to make it fake look shiny and fake feel soft. That's pretty much what you're doing. And if you like that, that's okay. You can keep doing that. I'm glad you found something that, works with your hair. But I just kind of want like the real thing, So what I did was I took out all sulfates, I took out all silicones, and I also took out all drying alcohols, of course. Like a bunch of shampoos and conditioners have for some reason like really drying alcohols in them. And that was like, that's like one of the rules of the Curly Girl method is to not use any of those ingredients, and that's what I did. And let me tell you something. First of all, the first time I switched my shampoo and conditioner out, I got DevaCurl. Now, my story is not like most people's. I did not experience what they experienced difficulty-wise. But I did stop using it when I heard everybody's stories. But in the beginning, when I first started using that sulfate-free shampoo, my scalp was like great after the third wash. Like it didn't itch, I didn't have any psoriatic breakouts, like it was great. My hair stopped getting as oily looking on the 5th day. Like it just, I don't know, I felt like the shampoo was really like a good step in working my way to a healthy scalp and healthy hair. And because my scalp is healthy, I also feel like it helps my hair grow, like, more. And I also switched to, the DevaCurl conditioner, and that was great, I didn't really see a difference between not using silicones, but I'm sure my waves did, because silicones can weigh down, like, any type of textured hair. But yeah, and I also bought a leave-in, but most of the time I just use, my conditioner as my leave-in. Another tip is stop straightening and stop blow drying your hair on high heat. Like, that is, if you want to, you can, of course. I mean, like, I'm not saying, like, I hate you if you do that. No, like, do what you want. But, if you want to go in the direction of, helping your hair health and stuff, I would suggest reducing the heat tools by pretty much all of it. I haven't even used a heat tool yet since my Curly Girl journey. Some people, like do a blowout here and there. I have not done that yet because I feel like I'm still in a partial transition phase. Which pretty much means like my hair isn't at its max health yet. But yeah, when I stopped doing all of that was when I really saw like an improvement in my hair texture. It went from like, being like when I first started Curly Girl versus when I, now. And then, yeah, pretty big change. Another thing I would suggest to just, warm yourself up is thinking about, if you're gonna get a chop or not, big chop or not. That's what they call, like, getting all your dead ends off and stuff. For me, I didn't want to. Like, I wasn't going to. Screw that. My hair's long. I love long hair. Like, never, ever cutting it. And, like, I think like 4 weeks into the Curly Girl method, I ended up doing a big chop, and I went from being belly button length hair all the way to like shoulder length hair. It was like here, and yeah, best decision I ever made, because after that my waves sprung up, like I didn't feel any more of that dry, brittle, dead hair. Like everything I cut off was completely dead. Like I thought that I could save it, but you can't save dead hair no matter what. You can make it look nicer, you can make it look softer, you can make it look shinier, but it will always be dead, and it will always have split ends, and those split ends will always rise until you cut them off. So that's what I did. I cut them off, and best decision I ever made, because my hair has been growing like a weed since then. what, I said I got it cut like to my shoulders. Look at that. That was in January, and it's what, September now. This, and I've gotten one trim since then, and he only cut off like an inch. But yeah, this is, I don't know how many months that is, but this is growth. I definitely know that. My hair is growing like a weed. But yeah. So, another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was maybe what you need to buy during this little beginning phase type thing. I would say the only thing you really have to, and keep in mind, you can find these things for very cheap drugstore prices, you know, just do a little research and you'll find the right product for you. So, like, you might need to buy a brush. I bought the wet brush. You can look at different detangling brushes. Just make sure they're like for detangling and, you know, make sure they're gentle enough. I'm pretty sure this brush is like $6, maybe even $4. Who knows? That's pretty cheap though. Another thing I bought was shampoo and conditioner that was sulfate free and silicone free and all that jazz. And of course, my first time, that was the DevaCurl package. I got like the whole shampoo, conditioner, and leave-in and gel, but you don't have to do that if you're starting out. You know, you could just buy a shampoo, a conditioner, and if you want, a leave-in. But yeah, another thing you could look into, if you don't want to use like an old t-shirt or something, you can get a microfiber towel. Those are gentler towels and, you know, are still counted in the towel category. So you can get that if you wanted to. And then the last thing would be like a scrunchie or a bobble, like an, again, optional. I don't even know if you wear your hair up. I only do occasionally. But yeah, those are some of the things that you could pick up at the store or the drugstore. So yeah, you guys, that is pretty much what I did at the beginning of learning about hair health and learning about the Curly Girl method. My next video in this series is going to be about your first wash day of a curly girl, which is also called your last wash day. Just because there's certain little special things there. But yeah, I'm going to go in depth describing that and going through it with you and stuff in my next series video. But honestly, I'm gonna be trying to post, you know, hair stuff and other stuff. So it's gonna be like hair, something else, hair, something else, hair, something else. Just so you guys don't get bored with the whole, like, you know, hair care info type of thing. So, yeah. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you tune in for the next one. Bye.